Just waiting a few minutes and then I will still explain what I'm doing, even though there is no one in here, which is fine, No worries, no stress. I'm trying to do this to catch up with the fact that I missed last week's member-only live stream. But yeah, these are made to be like work streams or something. Like, they're not meant to be very prepared streams. There's room for improv and just doing stuff. Like, if you have any questions, that way I can, you know, go off on a tangent to explain stuff to the best of my abilities. And if there's no questions, then I can just get some work done, which is a really good incentive, because sometimes it's really difficult to just sit down and get stuff started. I really struggle with that. So having a set live stream for that, it really helps. And you can work along. Like, we can all work together. So I'm preparing swatches for a review video of a palette I was sent from Lightwish. But it looks great. So there's that. And still a bit hot, but not that much today. But I'm still sweaty because that's me. So yeah, basically I've pre-cut all of these. First step is to erase the lines that I drew to cut these down to size. I've made stacks of 10. I have 48 colors, so I made 4 stacks of 10 and then 1 stack of 8. And I'll try to do them in batches, see if that's any less tedious. Because if my brain falls asleep, that's when I'm usually done for. In this aspect, it's a good idea to stream at the same time, because I'm having to like use all of my faculties to chat and have the stream going and do the thingies at the same time, so it's good that it keeps me more busy, you know. If I was less busy, I might be more tempted to just switch off to a different project or whatever idea I get, like suddenly, like, oh, I could clean this up, and then I go do it, instead of staying here and doing the work that I have to do. I don't know if it's the ADHD, I don't know if it's just my brain. I can never tell with this paper what is the right side and what is the wrong side. Whatever we say about Arche paper, at least it's very clear on its wrong side. It has that little grid-like texture. I don't know if you guys, I say as I speak to the void, but this is my glasses. They're plastic frames, and when it's hot, this nose bridge part, eventually it hurts so bad. It's like, because of the fact that I'm sweating, it kind of sticks, and then it chafes. So this process is a bit time consuming, and it's, you know, borderline annoying to do, especially for larger sets of like 48 colors. But I think when I make the videos, it is way easier this way to showcase the colors. I think people enjoy seeing the big swatches. And I also appreciate being able to see, like, if a paint has a specific texture. Doo-ba-doo-ba-doo. Mm-hmm. thinking perhaps I should split these in 12, in batches of 12 instead of 10, 10, 10, 10, and 8. I might do so when it's time to paint them, because I usually paint them in batches. I don't have like the most space for them to dry, so whenever I do the masking fluid and I need to let them dry, or whenever I do paint, so that's 20 onward. I don't have my little kitty friend right now. It feels so weird. Some days she spends the whole afternoon here, but today I don't know where she is. I hope she's in a comfy place. I even set up her umbrella. My trash can is completely full, so I'm using my desk trash can, because it's, you know, not the greatest idea to put eraser bits in a full trash can. I mean, this is not ideal either, but it's working. And here we go again. I like to number these like 1 to the number of color I'm swatching in this set, so that it's easier for me, like if I take some out of the batch to like compare them, or if I want to, you know, feature some of them but not keep them in the order, well, that way I can always, you know, put them back in order because they're numbered. I hope that makes sense. It's pretty obvious, so. Oops, that's not 3, that's 23. am hearing that apparently Ozzy Osbourne has passed. I don't really have any thoughts on that. I am using the swatch template that Masha very graciously sent me. I really like it. I'm not entirely sure why I decided to do big swatches. It's not something that, you know, has worked the best for me in the past, just because at some point you end up with so many of them and it's like, how do I organize this? And it takes place, it takes up space, I mean. Oops, okay. Okay, I'm gonna put the microphone back. Oops, I didn't think it would be in frame. And that's another batch done. There's one thing that's a bit odd about the members only live stream is that it's normal that there's not any or very few people. At the moment there's no one in chat, so I don't really know if my stream is working out fine or like if I'm muted. And I mean, I could do a minimum of checkup in OBS. I'll hold on, I'll finish this task and I'll go check it out. Hold on. Okay, it's meant to be working. I'm back, sorry. Right. And now I only... Whoop-a-doo, I'm sorry about that. Now I only have 8 to do. I'll do this one on this side, I think is the right side. Really hard to know with this paper. Hopefully it won't, you know, make for any visual difference. Right. Whew. Let's go. All right, step is done. I'm gonna split them in sets of 12, I think. That's satisfying. So that's 12. 12. This is 12. 24. Another 12. All right. So. These are from Lightwitch, not Paul Rubens. I had a moment where I was wondering if these colors would match with, you know, the gigantic pans I have from Paul Rubens. A 2 3 3. Huh. Ow. So the colors don't match up necessarily, but they have the same numbering convention. So I wonder if Paul Rubens and Lightwish paints are produced like from the same manufacturer. Sorry, I'm old. Alright, and I can also do the... Okay, I could do these... Sorry, gross. By row. No, I'm not entirely sure how I'm supposed to get these out. I'm not gonna... okay, what am I gonna do? I'm not gonna do this right away because I'm gonna have to film a bit. I forgot to film the unboxing of this set, I think. I was in the process of checking my footage, but then I had to set up the stream, so yeah, I don't know. So is there a way that I can sort of... I could use the paper swatch, but sometimes they have mistakes in there, so I don't know. also have liquid paper, so if I make a mistake, I can erase it. Okay. All right. So it's just light wish, doesn't have a particular range. Okay. That's the first one. This color has such a weird name. They called it skin, and I kind of hate when they do that. Color pigments don't make much sense either. They say it's cadmium yellow, but it does not really look like cadmium yellow on the little printed swatch. So yeah, this is a lot of repetitive work, but I've tried a bunch of things. For a while I had a stamp that you could set up like the text yourself. It was a push down stamp, so I could set up like light wish and then position it and just go bang, bang, bang and print out light wish, but I don't know. Kind of made a space in there. There's not supposed to be a space, but I don't know why, but in the summer everything itches. I hate it. This one has, it's either ink that I somehow yeeted on my paper with my pen, or it could just be that there's some spots in the paper. That happens. Maybe I should just make another one. Sorry. Get yellow mediums on this one. Their Gamboge yellow is nickel azo yellow. That's gonna be interesting. Okay, so that's just weird. I'm gonna have to look at the pen for that one. Where did I put? Oh, here. Because the lists, the list, this color, I should have, hold on, I know what I should do first. And it's to check out the swatches and compare these with the info in the swatch card and to correct any mistakes that there could be. Because that has happened in the past, like a misprint or something. The only issue is that this palette is like, these are so snug. I wonder if you can, almost. So they could have spread them out just a little bit. That's good. What's this one? Yeah, okay. See an example of a misprint. This label, they wrote Naples, N-A-P-E-L-S instead of N-A-P-L-E-S. That looks good. My cat has opinions. PY3. PY35. 65. Oops, shoot. Oh my gosh, when the pen won't even come off without ripping the label. Oh no. Oh no. Okay. Transparent medium yellow. Okay, so that's good. What's this one? PY83. Okay. Cat orange yellow. That's PO20. Okay. Now that one, that cadmium orange, that's the one that confused me. They say it is PY150. Okay. That's so weird. PO73, is that one accurate? Yeah, okay. Let's look at, oh, I can look at the second row right away. Oh, thank God. Alright. Where am I? Scarlet. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 1, 2, 2. 2, 5, 4. Yeah, 108. PV19. PR177. PV19. PV19. PV29. PV23. PV28. Oh, what the fudge. PV19, PBK6, PB15, okay. PB29, okay, so these are all good. This one is called Penny Gray. I don't know if the... No, it's not even a Payne's Gray. We have a Payne's Gray here with a typo in it. I'm excited to swatch Penny Gray. That's cute. Turquoise light. Oh, PB36, really? Alright. Deep turquoise. 36. I have a malachite green, which I'm really curious to see. gosh, it's not moving. Wow, wow, is that one not moving at all? What? How? But this one. PG7. It's stuck. It was stuck. 101.17. Okay. Hooker's green. Brilliant. Oh wow, this one has 4 pigments in it. I keep saying that the number of pigment doesn't matter, and I stand by that, but it's still always surprising to stumble upon a mix, especially if the last pigment is PW5. It's like you could have just not put that one in. It's not gonna do anything. And these two have the exact same pigments too. Last row. Perm green. Ow. I have quite a few in a row that have the exact same pigment composition. And this one is named Lemon Sienna. I think it's the first time I see it named like that. I kind of like it, to be honest. That's a cute name. Yellow ochre. Nipples yellow. Cool. So far, all the pigment info on the chart fits the one on the wrappers. Okay. Raw umber. They always have a few typos. There was a brown that was missing the P in PBR7. This one is missing the R. It's just PB7, which is, you know, not an actual pigment code. Oh, well, it is for blue, but I doubt it's pigment blue, you know. Burned brown. Burnt sienna, burned brown. All PBR7. And then last one, ivory black is PBK9. Oh, see, it's labeled PBR9, so you really can't rely on the label. I'm glad that the... I'm gonna use that as a reference. But I checked, and there's, you know, aside from the discrepancies that I just listed, the chart sort of makes sense, except for that one color, that cadmium orange. It's supposed to be PY150, which is nickel azo yellow, which is transparent. Finally, this one. Permanent orange red PO73. Alright, so what do I do now though? These have got to dry. I'm gonna get some water. This is what I'm gonna do. There's another thing that I wanted to do. It's this palette. I wanted to take the paint out of it. And put it in something else, because I don't think I enjoy these kind of palettes all that much. I'm gonna get some quarter pans, I think. Ooh, almost took that right in the face. That would have made for a good cut. Oh, my kitty's there. Hello, Shiro. Hello, baby. Sorry. I never get the right. Look at these. Let's do this. So I have these that I kind of put together myself. They're little round pans, and I put a little round foam sticky at the bottom, and then a little round magnet. But they were just a bit too small for what I wanted to put in them, so I didn't end up using them after all this work. Right. What fell? What fell? Just something that I say perhaps a bit too often. Alright, now I don't really know how I'm going to be able to pry this. I have kind of an awl, AWL, that I use for, you know, tinkering and whatnot, but I don't want to scrape the ceramic surface. So I'm trying to think of what else I have that would work, but that is also not as sharp. And I think a toothpick would be perhaps a bit too, would just break, right? I can try, I have toothpicks. Aside from the fact that I left a little piece of wood in there, so far it's going really well. Much better than I expected. Awesome. Stay in there, please. Come on. Dang it. Ah, there you go. Alright. Can I even take off the bit of wood that I left in there? Oh, I think I did it. Now the green one. Oh. Well, that's the best I can do. So I'm gonna do a drop of water in each. To help glue it down. And then I have this butcher's tray that is kind of my drying tray for stuff. And I'm just gonna have to wash this. I'm gonna go put this in the bathroom, just I'll be right back. Alright, another thing done from my to-do list. That's good, that's good. How dry? Dries pretty fast. So I'll keep going then. when I'm gonna be ready to swatch these out, I'm probably gonna stick the wrappers on the back of the swatches, and I hope that the wrappers will stick enough on their own without me having to add some like tape. But I don't think it will work out fine. I will probably have to tape them down. Ugh, so many extra steps. I'm really loving. Otto! Hey, let me know if you can hear me. Hi! You can hear me? Awesome! Hey, I'm happy to see you. Hold on, I was still having like my podcast in my ear, but I'll remove it for now. I'm doing swatches. Like I have this review of a 48 color set from Lightwish that I have to do, and I decided I was gonna do the big swatches for it. I don't know why I decided that, because it's a lot of work. You know, but I think the people who watch my Rosa Gallery videos really enjoyed seeing the big swatches in there, so I felt like, you know, they help showcase the colors well. But as always with companies like Lightwish, the colors, there's always something odd. Like, I'll know when I swatch them for sure, but there's always a couple of colors where you're like, are you sure that's the pigment you went for this one? Like there's a cadmium orange in there. That's nickel azo yellow. That's PY150, which is, you know, that transparent yellow. That's not a very, that's not a very cadmium-y color, if you know what I mean. So I'm kind of eager to try that, but I mean, this might serve as a sort of a test too. If I notice while doing this one that I want to perish because this is a bit too intense, well, I can, you know, not do that again. What have you been up? What have you been up to? I'm so excited to see you that I just trip in all my words. I want them all to come out all at once. My day is fine so far. I've done a lot of little like tasks this morning. I set up a new monitor stand. And it's one that I got two of them, and I put my computer on one and my screen on the other, and just reorganizing my space like that. I had, you know, usually... You burn your hand on the iron! Oh, shoot! Oh, that's a bad burn. Oh. How did you manage that? Oh no. I think it's gonna scar. Good grief. Do you need to like go to the doctors to get it like sorted out? Yeah, but I scar super easily. Did you get what's it called? Keloids? So you know, I finished quilting the ice quilt and I had all of those. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember seeing them and telling myself like, oh, these are probably washable lines. But there are heat. Oh, there are the heat erasable lines. Oh. Wait, does that mean that if you put the quilt like in the freezer, the lines are gonna come back? I finished the ironing and was about to do a once over check and bam, iron burn. Ow! Like you touched it and you didn't mean to? But I mean, we never mean to touch a hot iron, do we? No, it's blistering or in thing, so it should be okay. I guess the quilt was like, you put all these marks on me, my turn. Like, yes, but yours are erasable. Yeah, if you put it in the freezer, it will come. You could wash it before that, though. Yeah, I guess so. It was just more out of curiosity because, you know what? I wonder because over here, like we don't really heat up the place all that much in the winter. So I wonder if I had a quilt, hypothetically, that had those heat erasable lines. I wonder if they would come back in the winter, or if it takes something much colder than that. You write a rude message on it and you give it to someone you don't really like all that much. And then when it gets cool, it says, screw you! Thanks, Quilt. I guess if you leave it outside in Canada in winter, it would come. Yeah, definitely. I was watching, Cecilia's videos, the lady who's on Svalbard, and she is Swedish, I think. But anyway, it's a something they do through all of the Nordic countries, but they will air out their duvet outside. And I don't think Svalbard is all that humid. I think it's a somewhat fairly dry space. So even in the winter, she will take the duvet, the two duvets they have out, and she will put them on like the sort of balcony thingy outside to air out. So yeah, they would have a problem with heat erasable stuff, but it apparently has to go down to minus 10 Celsius. Okay, so I'm good. Oh, I know, I'm like, what the I would do it too if I could, seriously. Can you imagine like having your duvet being all crispy and cold and nice? But that's why I say I think it only works if you live in a place that's fairly dry. And I guess if it starts snowing, you bring them back in. But if it's just like a light dusting of snow, and it's, you know, not humid, it's gonna like, you're gonna be able to shake it off the blanket. Over here I could not. Also, like, big city with pollution and everything, so ugh. I don't want it. I want it warm and dry. Well, it will be cold and dry. I love cold and dry, especially for sleeping. Oh, it's so hard to sleep when it's hot. Girl, I have the heated blanket in my bed on a timer, so I don't even have to switch it on. I'm definitely a warm bed person. And I know that James is even more like that. I couldn't do with a heated blanket. I am my own heated blanket in a way. Yeah, sure, sometimes it's a bit too cold and I need to like add a blanket or something, but I much prefer having to do that. And like, we keep the thermostat at like 16 Celsius in the winter. He gets cold so easily. He's still wearing fleece jackets. What the? How? How? I see people like that here and I'm like, I'm flummoxed. Whoa, I almost just fell over. I was trying to see if Shiro is still there, but she's so tiny that when she's like napping, I don't see her. So I had to get up, but I almost flipped over my stool. That wouldn't have been cute. But yeah, I mean, I see sometimes it's around like 20, let's say 20 to 25 Celsius here. And I see people with not winter puffy, but still like puffy jackets. And I'm like, how do you even live? And sometimes it's like 30 something and you see people wearing long clothing and dark clothing. And I'm just like, I don't, how? I don't get it. Yeah, I'm okay. Just, my stool has 3 legs. So it's really easy to sort of get off balance on it. I'm so glad that you were back. I am whole again. Yay! She's a baby and I can send you photos of her. Which is, you know, everybody wins in this situation. I think she's happy to be back to her routine as well. I don't think they like were like unhappy being like in a Paris apartment for a while, but I do think that Chaz and Shiro are really happy to be back to their routine. Chaz has his little like route of stops he has, and Shiro, she literally like, we're like her summer home. She likes it here. It's relatively quiet. She, you know, she gets snacks and attention and pets. And she can like play on the lawn. Like we have a significant sizable lawn. It's just part of the building, you know. So she has the zoomies on it sometimes, and she will pounce like bugs and stuff. The one thing that surprised me the most when she came back is that, you know, she came back early July, and usually she would come out. Well, apparently she still goes outside in the winter, but she stays really close. She doesn't like to, you know, go as far in the winter. I think she just doesn't like the snow and what it feels like to walk on snow as a small cat. And that's fine, perfectly fine. But yeah, usually she starts reappearing when the snow melts. So in the spring, and for us that's what, in May? Let's say May. So May, June, July, there was like 1 to 2 months that she couldn't go outside. And I think that's why her fur was so weird when she started, like she came back. Because her fur was like way too dense. And I think what happens is that whenever the weather starts warming up and she goes back outside, you know, she does her kitty thing. She frolics on the floor, and she, you know, runs around and get pets and all of that. And I think that really helps her shed all the fur, all the winter fur. But since she didn't have that, and I'm thinking that maybe where they were for 4 months was much warmer than here. So like all her extra fur was, you know, not sort of necessary. And she comes back. She goes from really cold to warmer, and then she comes back, and she had all these mats. But we finally got all the mats out, and now she's all like, you can tell that her coat is super different. It's much lighter. She had all this undercoat like stuck. She was like a woolly kitty for a minute there. I'm glad she's back for both you and her. Yeah, she's spoiled here. She's so spoiled. I had to reorder food, like wet food for the cats here, Scout and Pecco. And I ordered some just for Shiro. Like, she's not my cat, but she really likes the wet food. Like when we give some to the girls, and I would bring her like the little spoon to lick off, and she is so happy with that. And I was like, okay, if you like it that much, I'm gonna get you a few cans of your own stuff. A mini mammoth, the smallest of mammoths. Oh my gosh. Oh, the tiniest mammoth, a bucket mammoth. Of course, of course. She's my cat. She's my cat for 6 months. And then she is from here, so I think that within her genetics, like, she is more used to the weather here, which makes sense. And I think she would have made a really efficient little farm kitten. You need to move closer so you get right next door. It's not gonna be weird one bit. I haven't seen him since the video I sent you, but it's so funny because he's a bit like Fanta was. We haven't seen Fanta in a while, so I think his either his humans decided to keep him indoors, or they moved, or something like that. But Fanta used to be like her boyfriend. Apparently he would go to her human's place to go get her, and then he would walk around with her, and whenever I would give food, he would always let her eat first. which is adorable, and he would like hang out with her and just be happy. And this new cat kind of does the same. That girl gets more boys too. I do wish that all outdoor kitties would get a like, if it was more universal to get the cats ear tipped, or to get them a collar or something, because since it's not, you know, that enforced, quote unquote, you never know when you find a cat outside what's the state of the cat. Are they neutered? Are they like taken care of by someone? What's up? Oops. France ultramarine. That's the one thing that bothers me around here, is that, you know, this stuff is pretty lax. So you never know. And I'm like, I wish I knew. Because I would try to, you know, get some of them fixed. Get a guy that treats you like Fanta does in general, not you specifically. I mean, he was Shiro's guy. He stopped being scared of me approaching him, but that's probably just because I had food. So he was kind of okay. I could not touch him. Sorry, I could not touch him. He didn't like to be petted. But he, you know, he wouldn't mind me being somewhat near him. But yeah, he would come for Shiro, which is so cute. Oh. She's sleeping under the sunbrella. This next color is named the Peacock Blue. Okay. That sunbrella in her is so cute. The Peacock Blue. Okay. You know, you would think nowadays that they would get like someone to just proofread that stuff. But nope. The labels are full of typos. Like the pans. I feel like the word "the" should be in bubble writing. Oh shoot. Where is my liquid paper? Nowadays, you think AI would do a better job? Yeah, I don't know how they get the translation done. AI would be sort of the easy guess, but I think even Google Translate would do better, you know? Sorry. Oh, I put my finger in the ink and now it's smudged all over this one. And this is why you cut more cards than you need. Yeah, I made a mistake. I smudged all over. I need to clean this up too so I don't smudge some more. A ton more than you need. Yeah, absolutely. I basically made the whole paper pad. You also need like what's this called? Correction tape, or you know, liquid paper. Liquid paper is so stinky. Do this again. Where was I? So that's after sea blue. This Prussian blue. So this swatch template has one thing that is kind of weird about it. Is that the sort of the example, anyway, the template itself, because it's sort of you know, scratched in, but they put the pigment first and then the color name, and I find that to be so weird. I'm sure you shouldn't have let kids use liquid paper in the 90s. Someone must have drank. Dude, seriously. But unlike, I don't know about you, but unlike what was the name of those markers? You know, the xylene one, not the alcohol one. The they were a bit like alcohol marker but stinkier. But that one was kind of a smell that was mesmerizing, at least to me. Like I find the smell of gasoline mesmerizing. Xylene, yeah, I think it's either XYLENE, like the chart pack markers. And it's this really strong smell, but also comforting, at least to me. But yeah, I feel like liquid paper is just stinky. Yeah, xylene, I think it's like that. I think. So check out this color. It's penny gray, and it's with the blue. Summertime. Oops. And it is just PBK7. And I'm like, why is it with the blue? I don't get it. Yeah, penny gray. Not Payne's Gray, there's a Payne's Gray just after. Even though pennies are copper. Oh, like oxidized. I haven't swatched it yet, but I can show you, like, I'll try to show you the little, like, it's this one here. Like, it is like a dark gray. It's a bit like ivory black. I feel like this one should have been like here. And even Payne's gray, mind you, these two could have been moved like down here. And then Prussian blue goes straight into turquoise blue. I kind of love how turquoise blue, turquoise light. You have turquoise light here and then turquoise deep, and the swatches are like the opposite of their descriptive. Yeah, I feel like the Chinese paint sets, they always pack a few surprises in there. I don't know, penny gray. And it's not even a variant of Payne's gray. I have no idea what's up with it. No idea. Did they use the same AI that the color wheel lilac? She was, you know, she was good with the replies to my comments. I tried to keep it really like level and not be like a rabid, with just the touch of the lightest shade possible. When I said that, like, oh yeah, so it's more like a vague suggestion than a real guide, am I right? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, okay. Also one thing, I don't know if I sent you that screenshot, but it cracked me up so much. But she says something like, it gave me a bunch of colors for each primary, so I started with purple. Ah, yes, purple, that primary color. Of course. She also said that she will complete the whole wheel. It's like 30 colors in there, and then she will share it if I want to follow the same color wheel as her. And I was like, okay, thank you. But the thing is, also, she shows, like when she mentions it, she shows in her video, like she has a like a color wheel that shows up for a second there, and it has, you know, all the right colors around it. Yeah, I think that anyone that knows anything about an actual color wheel would not be doing it the way she's doing. The names, Misty, whatever color, and you're like, it's just so weird. Unless she gets those color names from like convenience colors that are named like that, because otherwise you have to mix it up every single time. I did. There's a big part of the whole setup that I'm missing. And I mean, okay, fine. Would not be. Sorry, I was rage typing. Smash his key. Oh no. Like, you sent me the first video in her series, and I looked at it and I was like, oh, okay, weird. And then when you raged again, and I went back and checked it again, and she was 4 videos in, and you know, I was I was willing to buy into her premise a tiny bit. Because, you know, not everyone is like very precise in their methodology, and it's something we have to accept, like, even if we don't agree with it. But then I looked at the first four colors that she shows as she paints the fourth one, and three of them are basically the same. Educated. I'm trying to be not too mean, but yeah. They have such AI vibes to it. Yeah, there's something weird about it because it's like I said, three of the colors are like desaturated purple tints. So basically a very light purplish gray. Three of them. They're basically the same color. I know you have to pick up 30, but dude. Okay, let's say 30, okay? And then you have primary and secondary colors, okay? So that's 6. So 30 divided by 6, that's 5 colors for each primary and secondary color. That's really easy to do to get something that it has some, you know, there's notable differences between each of them. You wouldn't catch me with 3 of the same colors, you know. I wouldn't be able to. There's so many to choose from, especially if you consider tints and shades to be part of what's possible, or even tones. Even more. You both have extra icons and we can't tell the I mean, you're right. No, you're right. You're right. It seems to be a trend currently because I have a friend who sent me another reel from Instagram. And it's not exactly the same premise, but the dude is still doing like 1 painting a day. So it seems to be something that's going on right now. They wrote it malachite. And I don't know if I should add the E or if it's meant to be truly malachite. So I have come to a crossroad. Ooh. What kind of crossroad? I can either rip the screen off my phone and throw it out the window or cry in the corner with this casual or you could not look at those, maybe. Or you could send them to me and we can rage at them together. A bit like when we were looking at the quilts and finding some really weird fabric choices. Oh, that's a great option. Okay, deal. Of course. I'm happy to help, I guess. because those were bad but fun. This is just chaos in all the wrong ways. But I mean, I don't know if you found, like, stumbled upon the most egregious one first. There's no way that they all approach the challenge in the same weird way. And it's so weird because it's kind of not clear what it's supposed to be. Like, what's the goal? Is it to... Like, I've seen color challenges before. And basically, I don't remember what's the... how it's set up, but you would have... Oops. Hold on, I need to finish writing this. Like, you would have... I don't know, like, you have... Each month you have a selection of 6 colors and you have to paint or draw something with just these colors. You know, that kind of stuff. Like, there's a bit of a... You know, there's a setup. It kind of makes sense. The color palette is selected beforehand. The colors, like, they also make sense. With this thing, I don't understand what's going on, because it's like 30 paintings, so that's one aspect of it. Then you have a color wheel, and you're like, okay. But then they don't follow the color wheel. And they don't explain exactly how whatever color from the color wheel is gonna be implemented in the 30 paintings. A painting for every color in the whole binary range. Ooh, that's a lot of colors. Yeah, and I think Lana does something similar too. She does a lot of monochromatic paintings with just like one paint. Like, Auntie Patience! Hello! You know what the color wheel thing reminds me of, Otto? It's basically as if someone came up to you and said, okay, so I'm gonna do muffins, but I will use this bundt cake tray, and the muffins will also have oysters in them. And then you're just like, what are we doing? What? What's happening? So that's kind of the vibe that I get from like, I feel it's so far removed from what you would expect of a similar challenge that it's basically just like, why not just make it I'm gonna be painting one thing every day for 30 days, and I will feature like one color that I want to use in each of the paintings and make a wheel out of them. You know, that kind of stuff. Like, what is the point of it, and what is... Exactly! Yeah, well put. You've nailed it. What's the system of it is really the thing that gets to me. Because, you know, when she wrote like, oh, and you can do the same, and I was like, do what? What's happening? What are you doing? Ah, poop. It's written so small. Where's my liquid fucking... Oops, sorry. My corrector tape. I don't know if you guys get to see my face in the camera, but... Ooh, I love a good rage rant. Ever gonna have to explain why we're... Yeah, I will try my best. So, Auntie Patience. It started when Otto sent me a video on Instagram. And the video, like, starts, you see this person, this girl, and she's like, so for 30 days I'm gonna be painting one thing every day, and I'm gonna use the colors from the color wheel. and she shows up like a color wheel. Well, you have like, you know, the sort of basic color wheel, like magenta, red, orange, yellow, and then I think they kind of go darker towards the middle, maybe, like something like that, like a standard color wheel. And you're like, okay. And she goes, okay, so my first painting today, I'm gonna be incorporating this color. I don't remember the name of the color. Perhaps Otto will be able to provide that detail, but I'm gonna be incorporating this color in my painting, and the color is a very light purplish gray. And Otto was already raging about it, but yeah, that's the moment that gave all of us pause, because we're like, wait, hold on. What color wheel are you using exactly? And that was, you know, left there for a bit, and then Otto sent me another one yesterday, and the same artist was at her fourth painting in her series of paintings, and she shows like the color she used for the other three paintings and the fourth one, and so they're set up like a wheel, so she paints the color in for each painting. And the first color was this purplish gray. Then it's something like, you have the purplish gray, you have a sort of Payne's gray, and then you have two other purplish grays. So we're 4 colors in, and 3 of them are the same, basically. And one is like a dark, muted, like a dark grayish blue. And we were like, what's going on? What's happening? And then I couldn't just leave it at that. I had to ask questions. So I asked the artist. I was like, I don't get it. Like, you're using the color wheel, but using none of the colors of the color wheel. What's happening? And the way she sort of explained it is that, to make a long story short, she basically uses it as like a very vague reference point, and she has chosen like colors that fit into each color family somewhat, and she says something like that she opted to start, she chose colors for each primary, and then started with violet, which is hilarious on its own, because violet is not a primary color, really. it's a secondary color, and depending on the violet, the tertiary color, you know. So, oh yeah, that's been the poop show. I hope I summed that up well enough to make it understandable, but oh my gosh. Yeah, and like the first color she used is named something like Misty Violet. And you're like, dude, I don't know what's going on. I'm sorry, I don't. What am I doing? Tree green, okay. And I'm just preparing a bunch of swatches for a review that's coming up. Taking a pause to let that dry a little bit. I did? Okay, good. But yeah, I can't... Oh, I just had such a quote-unquote evil idea, but I'm not set up for it, but I would have pulled up the Instagram account and looked at the color wheel, so we can all rage together. I'm not really set up for it though. My microphone is all the way over here, and I would have to be... But I could be on my tablet though. I wouldn't be able to see chat. Probably because I missed that. It would have confused my newbie brain. Well, it's just... I mean, we're not newbies, and it's still confusing to us. Like, ultimately, the thing it boils down to, like, what irks me the most is the fact that it's so confused anyway. Like, what are you doing exactly? Are you just coming up with a list of 30 colors, and then each day you paint something and you try to incorporate the color in your painting and see what happens? Because that's fine. That's a good challenge on its own. And it's not, all that easy, and you can use some sort of randomizer to pick up 30 colors. And, whatever color you end up picking, ultimately they're going to be in the quote unquote primary colors family, or the color families, just period. But then you mentioned that you're using the color wheel in some capacity for this, and it's like, where, how, what, it would have been fine if only she didn't say the word color. Yeah. That's it. Like, it's this, and also putting the visual of it, because she's making a wheel of colors, okay, but color wheel is a specific thing. And again, like, you could do the same challenge using the color wheel. Let's say, what I said, 6 colors. If we keep it with primary and secondary colors, and we keep it at 6 colors again, and you, like I said, I was saying that to Otto just a bit ago, but like, you want to do 30 days of paintings, you want to use the color wheel, you decide to pick the 6 main color families, like the primary and secondary colors, and then for each of these 6 you take like 5 variants of the color. So 5 times 6, 30. You're all set up for your 30 days, but at least the colors kind of look like they match one of the primary or secondary colors, Feels like she starts off saying that she's going to train weightlifting, and then she starts shooting. Yeah, there's an element to it that's like, I want to paint stuff. Like, for me, it gives off a vibe of, I want to paint things with colors, but I don't want it to be too hard, so I don't want the paintings to be ugly, so I don't want to pick colors I don't like. And I feel like, well, if you don't like the more vibrant colors of the color wheel, you need to change the name of your challenge to something else. Because color wheel, purplish gray and Payne's gray are not colors that come to mind when thinking of a color wheel. So it doesn't work. It just loses all meaning. Yeah, exactly. It's meaningless. And I mean, it's not like you have to combine these elements either. Like, a challenge is a challenge, but make it make sense, please. At the very least, Also, I think there's a little bit of it that kind of gets to me is the attitude of the person. There's a part of it that feels like... Hold on, how can I describe this? It's a bit like she is describing her old project as if she was very knowledgeable, But the moment you know a bit more about this stuff and you kind of look at it, you realize it makes no sense. But like you know, this kind of for it, that's not it. But there's really something weird, like to be. I don't know. It's just weird. Oh, I'm buffering. Am I buffering? Are you buffering? Okay, that's good. That's good. Am I good? Are we good? Is it back? Okay, I think it's back. I'm jittering more than buffering. I didn't see anything weird going on my end, so it seems to be back. Okay, cool. I discovered colored pencils before watercolor, and I bought a thing from Etsy on how to make a color wheel with a specific brand of pencil. And the more time I spent on it, the less. Almost random colors sounds like a similar thing. Ah. Well, I'm sorry you had to go through that. That sounds unpleasant. Meh, it kept me off Facebook. Oh, you don't want to spend any time on Facebook, truly. It's not getting any better as a platform. It's even more full of AI rubbish now. Yeah, it is awful. I wanted to completely delete all my meta accounts, but a family member got pissed about. I still have my Facebook account. I'm just never on it, and it's mostly there for networking and family reasons. But I'm just never on it. I never use it. It's just not enjoyable. I have a hard time already just keeping up with the social media platforms that I enjoy, you know, a little bit. There's so many other things to do. Like, who has time to, I don't know, go on Facebook, really? Funnily enough, my dad uses Facebook quite a lot, but just for the marketplace. He has zero interests in posts on Facebook. He just goes to the Facebook marketplace, either for selling or for buying stuff, but I find it funny. His main hobby is to fix up old clocks. So he often checks out if people have some for sale on a marketplace, and then he also sells them once they're all, fixed up. Though, speaking of my dad, I talked to him recently, and he said something that I was like, wow, like generations. That was a good example of how things are different. But he was like, hey, did you watch the news? And I was like, Dad, no. No, I didn't watch the news. I don't have cable TV. We only use the TV for like streaming services and games occasionally. And he was like, well, how do you know about stuff? Do you vote? And I was like, yeah, I vote. Yeah. He's like, how do you know who to vote for? How do you know what's their point, what they're selling? And I'm like, Dad, there's the internet for that. And I was like, whatever, but I was just like, what? Cable TV? You're showing your age, Dad. Old clock, that sounds fascinating. He has a lot of fun doing that. I don't think I even have a Facebook account anymore. Yeah, you're not. You probably have one in general, as you have a Meta account through Instagram. But yeah. And yeah, my dad was asking if I had seen the news, because so for just a little bit of setup, my parents, my mom's side, like my mom, her parents, they were from France directly. My mom, I think, was born here, but both her parents are, French. And on my dad's side, it's a long line of people that are from here, basically. So yeah, so like old Quebec lineage, if I can sort of say it like that. But yeah, and my dad's, his parents, his grandparents, his family, they all kind of come from a small village not too far from here, and it's a really cute little village. There's a river just nearby, and it's nice and all. But yeah, last week the one church in the village caught fire and burned down. So that's what my dad was telling me. Like, did you watch the news? And I was like, no. He was like, you didn't see about the church? And I was like, what? Yeah, he said the church burned down. And I was like, oh no. It was a pretty old church. And, I mean, it wasn't really used for any religious purposes anymore. But the citizens of the village were trying to buy it up and to preserve it as a historical thing, because it's quite old. Was quite old. But yeah, there was a big rainstorm, and the lightning hit it. It hit the bell tower, and it was set up with a thingy to it's called a paratonnerre in French, but it's when you have a rod to catch lightning and redirect it away from the structure. Well, either that didn't function properly, or it was broken, or whatever, but the lightning just hit the structure, and it's an old wooden structure, so it caught fire, and it just burnt down. I was just making sure that things were going. Sad about, yeah, it is sad. It is sad. It's a part of history, but at the same time, it's, you know, it's nature. What can you do? I feel like with us humans, with everything that we build up, we're basically just on borrowed time with nature claiming it back, you know. Less potential for the community to use the building. Yeah, they wanted to turn it into like a small venue. It's a teeny tiny village. Like it's, I think the median age has to be like 55. So yeah, we were talking about that with my dad and I, and we're basically saying like, well, now since that happened, um, like it would cost a lot of money to rebuild it, and even if they rebuilt it, it wouldn't be the same, you know. Like even if they stick to, even if they stuck to the original designs and everything, a lot of the like the historical feeling of the building comes from it having a history. And when you kind of rebuild it, even if you do the exact same as it was before, it's lacking that particular character. And we were talking about it, and considering all that stuff, it would probably be a better thing to clear it up, like make sure if any of the remaining stone walls are, you know, sturdy enough to hold, and then you kind of transform this area into a park with a memorial, perhaps for the church. The bell itself, like the big metal bell, survived intact, so they could put that as part of the memorial structure and have plaques with the history of the place. And if they make it into a park, that's still a communal place where people can go to, so it keeps the spirit of the church, which is the place people would go to back then. And it will still be, you know, nice and probably much less expensive than rebuilding the whole thing. That's a lovely idea. Oh, I'm glad you think so. I'm glad you agree. We don't know yet what they'll do, but yeah. The citizens were about to purchase the church. It was like on its last element of the process, but then this happened. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with it. But yeah, it was like my dad like was born in the village and grew up in the village, so he was like, it's odd because I have memories of the place, but once it burns down, it's not, you know, the place anymore. It's something else. It's a new place somewhat. I feel like, I don't know, I just feel odd about the idea of rebuilding it exactly as it was. It's just sort of missing the point that things change with time and stuff happens, and you can you know, work with it. You don't have to fight it all the time. I love how unrelated, but also somewhat related, but kind of funny that with so many of these Chinese watercolor brands, they don't have it named burnt sienna or burnt umber. It's burned, BURNED. Like it's not written properly. I wrote it as is, but I always feel weird. I never know quite what to do. Like, should I correct it or something? What's Well, yeah, especially if it wasn't being used anymore. Yeah, most of the people didn't go to church really anymore. It was mostly used perhaps for, like, you know, the Christmas celebrations and then funerals. Yeah, burned. So I'm curious to see. I really, really hope that they don't like rebuild it. It would be so expensive, and ultimately, like, sure, you want to make it into a small venue for like the concerts or whatnot, but it's a teeny tiny village, so you could set it up so you have like little concerts like that in the summer, like have a little stage set up and whatnot. And then in the winter, well, I mean, winter is winter. There's not much to do in the winter outside anyway. Which is perhaps where having like the church would be a bit more useful in the winter. Like it's an indoor space, so you can heat it up and have things going in the winter, but I'm not sure it's worth the whole price of it. And there are other like buildings around it that you could use for religious purposes. Like there's a I don't know what's the name in English, but the building where the nuns would be. And then there's presbyter. I don't know these words. To be fair, certainly in Japanese, the word that is used is koge, and that means burned. Yeah, but it's just weird. Like, it's just the spelling, right? Is BURNED an accepted spelling? And again, I'm not sure if there's another word for it like it is in English. Burned and burnt. I just thought that burned was the not the right way to write it, but maybe it is. A nunnery. It's a convent. I don't remember. Yeah, a convent. Is that a word? That's what I had in my mind, but I was like, no, that's not a word. But that too, like the convent is empty. There's no longer like anyone in it. Get thee to a nunnery. That's the last one. Woo. Okay, I'm not done. I'm far from done. I have to do all the masking fluid and then all the painting. But the information is done. Okay, good. I like the little village where like my grandpa lived. I lived there for a few years when I was a kid, like a baby mostly. Until I don't know how long we stayed there. I don't know. But it wasn't a really long time. I was perhaps 3 or 4 when we moved from there, but I really liked it from what little I can remember. But we were living like on the opposite my grandparents. Like if we crossed the street, we would be at my grandparents. Now you couldn't really do that really safely as a toddler because it's one of those, you know, like a small highway kind of road. Like there's a lot of trucks that drive on it, and they tend to drive a bit fast. So it's not exactly safe, but I would often be left at my grandma's. on, you know, the other side of the street, and I would often go to eat breakfast at my grandma's. So I have fond memories of that, and of my grandma's garden and the plum trees they had. And I'm glad to have those because my grandma, she became ill and passed not too long after that, after we moved. So, which is a shame. But yeah, it's a cute little village. It's really tiny. There's really nothing to do there, basically. But it's pretty, and it had its you know, its charm in being a small little village. Grandmas are the best. That grandma was something. She was the one that did the quilting. They would get together, her sisters, cousins, friends, like all the village ladies, her clique basically, and they would get together and and just, you know, do quilts, sew quilts by hand as a bunch of, and gossip and all of that, and drink also apparently. So it must have been quite something to witness. Can you imagine? My other grandma, the French one, learned to knit, but she never really knit for fun. It's more something she learned by necessity, and then something that she could do, but I don't think she ever enjoyed knitting, really. A quilting bee, I don't know. Is that what you would call it? It was basically a big get-together, and they would put the quilts out and like sew parts of it. That's both my dream to do and my nightmare, like trust someone else to quilt the quilt I've labored over. Well, the thing is it would be like a group project from start to end. Everybody would contribute for each part of the process. And I think also the quilts then were made from, you know, rags or, you know, leftover clothing that couldn't be used anymore or stuff like that. So it was not the same energy. That was also like, what, in the 70s, 80s? Older than that? Yeah, older than that, in the 60s. So yeah, so like, let's say everybody would get together and they would be like, okay, well, you and you're going to be cutting up the shapes, and you get to iron them, and I start, you know, hand sewing some, and then you join me and we chat and gossip at the same time, you know. A big group effort. I don't know if I could do it, but I can also completely understand how that was a thing, especially in a small village like that. Like, before the TV became, you know, available, before a bunch of stuff became available, and even if stuff was available in a small village like that, sometimes you just didn't have it. Chat, gossip, and drink sounds good to me. And like some sort of arting. If you don't sew, it could be knitting, it could be painting, but can you imagine like a get together, paint and drink? I would not be drinking alcohol, but I mean, we can drink other stuff too, like tea or fizzy stuff, fizzy drinks, and just chat and gossip. And it would be like the village gossip, so must have been something. All right, I have a bit of time left, but I'm not sure what to do. Oh, I could start with the masking fluid. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. All right. I'm gonna have to refill it. It is so stinky. It is so stinky. Masking fluid. That lovely ammonia smell. Must be of good to see you both again. Hey, have a good afternoon, evening, night to you as well, and to patients. Thank you so much for popping up and saying hi. New song coming out 23rd of July. What song? Ah, it blooped. I need to refill it. It's almost empty. That's why it bubbles up so much. Oops. Ah, it is so stinky. But I love this one. But oof, the stink is real. Yeah, there's really not a lot left. Oh, it's so stinky. It's so stinky, masking fluid. It is the stinkiest of the things. Is there an art supply that stinks more than masking fluid? Can you think of something that is more stinky? I can't. Oh, it's disgusting. Ark! Dang it. I think with the masking fluid mist, the best you can do is to let it dry out. And then you peel it off. if get a chopstick. What for? Would a toothpick work? Hold the chopstick against the larger bottle. Then, I'll leave myself a note to. Yeah, cool. I'll see. I should have. You know those takeaway ones. I should have a few left, even if we never use them. Yeah, any kind of stick would work. The toothpick might be too short. Okay. The liquid have followed shot. I have to check that out. That sounds good. How do you set it up? Hold on, let me find analogous items. Let's say this is my stick. Okay, it's a pencil, but let's pretend. And this is my masking fluid. So the part that goes into the smaller bottle, that's fine. But how do you just like go like this and then you tilt it? Isn't it gonna go all over your fingers though? How would you set it up so it doesn't, goes all over? Do you like hold the bit that's how do you figure it out? I wonder if I could use what's spilled on my desk too. Oh, sorry. Oh, I bumped the camera. I'm sorry. Hold the stick straight up. Hold the stick at the top. Okay. And then, oh, you just like tilt it like this. Oh, that's extra clever. I didn't know that. Whoa, that's so cool. How do you know that? Bless you, person outside. That's for cooking. Japanese cooking trick. That's so clever. I will definitely find a stick of some sort. I might sacrifice a pencil if I don't find a stick. And it's gonna be the masking fluid dedicated stick. I'm hungry. I don't know if you can hear my stomach, but it went brrp. Not a fart, just a grumbly stomach. Honestly, as a dead small paintbrush might be ideal. Ooh, yeah. Oh, I thought that was my stomach. Our stomachs are synced. Are you getting hungry too? Do you still have some of that delicious watermelon? I always look to get like some part of watermelon when I go at the grocery store, but sometimes there's nothing left in the pre-cut section, like no watermelon parts left, and I can't really see myself holding back a full one. Or when there is some left, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look ripe. It doesn't smell like watermelon, which is, a good sign that it's not good. I'm always bummed. Of course, they're synced like we didn't have. There's a bunch of syncs and there's a bunch of things that are just not, which is also funny. So this is time consuming, but at least I'm not wasting it, I guess. Stupid expensive Holbein masking fluid. This week's watermelon review, crisp but thin on flavor. Oh, that's a shame, but crisp is good, and at least it was not like bitter. The first one that I got this season was crispy but like flavorless and bitter, which is not a good combo, let me tell you. It sucked. Oops. I tried to. Oops. I keep making messes. I'm helpless today, really. But yeah, like the first one that I got, like they're pre-cut. Like I got a quarter of a melon, so I could have chosen better, but yeah. Was it last year's stock? I don't know. If it was last year's stock, it would have been alcohol. But it was just, it wasn't good. It wasn't good at all. The second one that I bought was delicious. The third one that I bought was flavorless a bit. So it's really hit or miss. Like it's really hard to find one that has the right texture and then also smells great. Like when they're pre-cut, you can smell them through the plastic wrap. So I always try to smell my watermelons to find a Are you feeling crashy or just fumed out? Why? Why? What's happening? Scott la proute, qu'est-ce que tu fais? Passe-toi. Do I sound crashy? That would be really hard to find. I know. I don't know, where are yours from? You say you get them from the Italian place, but where did they get them from? Bless you. That was a really big sneeze for such a small cat. You don't get pre-cut ones here. I think here you don't really have much of a choice, otherwise they wouldn't sell that much. Because people buy them, but there's also a lot of people that don't have cars and that, you know, live alone. And we get the melons from the US, so they're all really big. Because you were saying oh sorry, no, it's just this is the kind of day it is today. I don't feel particularly out of sorts, so I think it's just you know, the day. Italy or Spain, they always label it. I feel like these countries have a climate that's more suited to yielding good watermelons. Whereas in the US, I feel like, you know, it looks like a melon, it feels like a melon, and it tastes like butt. Which is kind of the same line that they use for a lot of their produce over there. It looks like the thing, feels like the thing, doesn't taste good. Oh, peaches. Peaches are the most egregious. Yeah, you would. What do you mean? That's amazing. And also, nothing could be further from the truth, so that's even funnier. Oh man. I'm fat, so I have fat, but I don't have boobs. Very not booby. That's so funny. Oh my gosh. So yeah, back to the summer fruit. Whenever we get the summer fruit that is locally grown, sometimes you can, you know, score better ones, like better fruits. But most of the time they come from the US, and they're really hit or miss. Dying on the inside. No, come on, that was hilarious. That was perfect. I feel like in places like Spain or Italy, you can almost grow fruits all year long, right? Can you? But they definitely have a lot more warmth, so the things gotta ripen better. Oh. So peaches. Is that any better though? But yeah, I mean, any kind of stone fruit, like peaches, nectarines, apricots, they're always gross. Sometimes you can get decent plums. They're perhaps the only ones that are not too awful. But the only time peaches are actually good is when they're in season and we get them from Ontario. And that's like a window of like 2 weeks. Any other peaches that you get that is like from the US or elsewhere, they never ripen, they don't taste good, they're dry. Oh my gosh, I found a place that sells amazing donut peaches. Oh! And they're good. I've never managed to get a good donut peach. Like I said, like only the locally grown peaches during the summer, like when it's peach season. That's the only ones I've ever seen, like that you can buy and that they will actually ripen properly and taste good. Everything else that I've tried has been disgusting. Also, are you team peach or team nectarine? Or nectarine? Or whatever. Donut peaches are so funny looking. Oh man, a peach donut, that's gotta be amazing. Yeah, they're good. I've not had decent ones sold in the UK before. Yeah, I'm guessing the UK is not a producer of peaches. What kind of fruits do you get from, like, locally grown? Berries, maybe? Peach, I think I'm a diehard donut peach fan. I'm a peach person. There's something about the nectarines that really doesn't work for me. Also, when I eat peaches, I can't bite into them. It's a texture issue. I have to, like, cut them up. Ben là, fille. Il est même pas l'heure. T'as pas rapport. Pourquoi tu chiales? But yeah, I have to like cut them up, and when they're ripe, you can easily separate the stone from the flesh of the fruit, and that I'm fine. But there's something about the texture. Hold on, I have scalp problems. Good. Come on, allez, allez, bang-toi. Up, up, up. All right. That was Scout. Shiro is still outside. Berries, apples, rhubarb. We get those two here. We get melons in the summer. I'm trying to think what kind of berries. We get a lot of berries. Like even the sort of weirder berries, quote unquote. Like the orchard, like the peaches, that's not exactly my province. It's the province over. I'm trying to think of what we grow here. We have plums, but they're often, you know, the little plums that are really sour. You kind of have to cook them. You cannot really just eat them like that. What else? I'm trying to figure it out in my brain. That's about it, really. Veggies grow perhaps more in the summer. They might be less like dependent on temperature or whatnot than fruits could be. Oh yeah, pears. I don't think Quebec has pears, but Ontario has pears too. We have apples, definitely apples, and you can go like the to the orchards to pick them up yourself. They have that with berry farms too, where you basically go in person and you pay and you fill up buckets and you pick up your own berries. To this day, I'm still convinced that it's something that has been created as an activity to tire out kids, because there's no way it's really all that fun to pick up your own berries and apples and whatnot. There's no way that's enjoyable. Not if I can, pay someone to do it. Like, why would I do that myself? Sounds like an excellent way to catch a bad sunburn and get bitten all over by mosquitoes. And But as a kid, like I feel like as a kid, it's quite fun. I gotta scoot. Oh yeah. Oh well, it's time anyway. Am I? Wait, am I way over? I am way over. I'm 1 hour over. Am I? Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I gotta go do other things too. Hey. Uh, Thank you so much for showing up, Otto. I really appreciate it. It's always fun. We should set these up so we can chat, perhaps, like talk directly. That could be fun. But anyway, I hope you have a good night and that you sleep well. And yeah, we will talk tomorrow. And if I have more cat photos or more egregious art things to share, I will send them to you. Bye.